The phone rang at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was already asleep when the sound pulled me from a dream I couldn't remember. My first instinct was panic. Late-night calls only ever brought bad news. Accidents. Emergencies. The kind of news that changes everything. I fumbled for my phone on the nightstand, my heart already racing. It was my mother. "Beta," she said, her voice thick with something I couldn't quite identify. Not quite sadness. Not quite urgency. Something in between. "Your father wants to talk to you tomorrow. Come to the house in the morning." I sat up in bed, my mind already spinning through possibilities. "Is everything okay? Is someone sick?" "Everyone is fine," she said quickly. Too quickly. "Just come tomorrow." 10 a.m. Then she hung up. I stared at the phone for a long time after the call ended. My mother never called that late. My father never wanted to talk about anything. In our family, conversations were my mother's job. My father gave pronouncements, not invitations. Something was wrong. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I drove to my parents' house with a knot in my stomach that no amount of deep breathing could loosen. The house hadn't changed in 30 years. Same white walls. Same creaky gate. Same neem tree in the front yard where my brother and I used to climb as children. Standing there, I could almost hear our voices echoing from decades ago. Laughter. Arguments. The sound of childhood before it got complicated. My mother met me at the door. She hugged me longer than usual, her grip tighter than necessary. When she pulled back, her eyes were red-rimmed. "Your father is in the living room," she said. "Just listen to what he has to say." "Okay." I nodded, even though I didn't understand. My father was sitting in his favorite armchair, the one he'd had reupholstered 3 times because he refused to replace it. He looked older than I remembered. Smaller somehow. The man who had once seemed like a giant now just looked tired. "Sit down," he said, gesturing to the sofa across from him. I sat. My brother walked in a moment later. Of course he was here. Vikas, 3 years older than me, always had been the favorite. The golden child. The one who could do no wrong. He sat next to my father, not next to me, and that simple choice told me everything I needed to know about what was coming. "I've decided to divide the property," my father said without preamble. "The house, the land in the village, the savings. I'm getting old. It's time." I waited. My heart was pounding, but I kept my face neutral. "I'm giving the house to Vikas," he continued. "He has a family, needs the space. The village land will be split between you both. And the savings." He paused. "The savings will stay with your mother and me for now. For emergencies." I blinked. "And what about me?" My father looked at me like I'd asked a foolish question. "You have the village land. Half of it. That's fair. Fair." The word hung in the air between us, heavy with meaning he couldn't see. I looked at Vikas. He was studying his phone, not meeting my eyes. Of course he wasn't. He knew. He'd always known. "Father," I said slowly, carefully, "I've been sending money home for 15 years. Every month. Never missed a single one. That money, it paid for this house's renovations. It paid for Vikas's children's school fees. It paid for your medical bills when you were sick 2 years ago." My father waved his hand dismissively. "You earn well. You can earn more. Vikas struggles. He needs the stability." "I struggle too," I said quietly. "You just don't see it." I didn't argue that day. I never argued. That was our family's unspoken rule. You didn't question my father's decisions. You didn't point out unfairness. You just accepted and moved on. But this time, I couldn't move on. On the drive back to my apartment, I thought about all the years I'd worked to prove myself. All the overtime. All the sacrifices. All the money I'd sent home without ever being asked, because I thought that's what good daughters did. I remembered my first job. Entry-level salary, barely enough to survive in the city. But every month, without fail, I sent something home. 1,000 rupees, 2,000, whatever I could spare. When I got promoted, I sent more. When I switched companies, I sent even more. I paid for my father's surgery when no one else could. I paid for my niece's school admission. I paid for the new kitchen my mother had always wanted. And through it all, not once did anyone say thank you. Not once did anyone acknowledge that I was the one holding things together. Vikas, on the other hand, floated through life. He changed jobs every 2 years, borrowed money constantly, took and took and took. And my parents just kept giving because he needed it, because he struggled, because he was the son who stayed close, who visited every Sunday, who brought the grandchildren they adored. I was the daughter who lived in the city, who worked too hard, who sent money instead of presents. And in their eyes, that made me less. A week after that meeting, I received a package in the mail. Inside were legal documents, property deeds, land records, and a letter from my father, written in his shaky handwriting. Asterisk, beta, get these signed and notarized. Then we can finalize everything. Your mother and I want peace before we go. Asterisk. Peace. He wanted peace. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at the papers, and felt something shift inside me. Something I'd kept locked away for years. All the small injustices, all the overlooked sacrifices, all the times I'd been told to adjust, to understand, to be the bigger person. I thought about the house they were giving to Vikas, the house I'd helped pay for, the house where my room had long ago been converted into storage, my childhood belongings boxed up and shoved into corners. I thought about the village land, half of which was now supposedly mine. Land I'd never asked for, never wanted, never needed. And I thought about the one thing they didn't know, the one thing I'd never told them. You see, while my family saw me as the daughter who was doing okay, the truth was far different. I hadn't just been working hard. I'd been building something. 15 years ago, when I first moved to the city, I started small. A tiny investment in a friend's startup, then another, then a third. Most failed. But the ones that succeeded, they succeeded big. By the time I was 30, I had enough money to retire. By 35, I had more than enough to buy my parents' house 100 times over. But I never told them, because money changes things. Money makes people look at you differently. And some small, stubborn part of me wanted to be loved for who I was, not for what I could give. So I kept quiet, lived modestly, drove an old car, wore simple clothes, sent money home like always, never mentioning that it was pocket change to me now. I wanted them to see me, not my bank account, me, but they never did. I picked up my phone and called my lawyer. Rohan, I said, I need you to prepare some documents. What kind of documents? Property transfer. I'm buying some land in the village, and I need you to handle it quietly. He paused. You're buying land? In your hometown? Yes. And I don't want anyone to know it's me. The next few weeks were a blur of paperwork and legal formalities. I used a shell company to purchase the land adjacent to my family's property. The land my father had always wanted but could never afford. The land that would complete their holdings, make the farm was barely a whisper. How? You don't have that kind of money. I looked at him, at my father, at my mother. I've had that kind of money for years, I said calmly. I just never told you. I told them everything. The investments, the successes, the quiet accumulation of wealth that had made me a millionaire while they saw me as the daughter who was doing okay. I told them about the money I'd sent home, how little it was compared to what I had, how I'd kept sending it because I wanted them to know I cared, not because I needed to prove anything. I told them about the years of feeling invisible, of watching Vikas get everything while I got nothing, of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who never complained. And then I told them about the land. That land, I said, looking directly at my father, is the land you always wanted. The land that would complete the family property. And now it's mine. My father's face had gone pale. My mother was staring at me like she'd never seen me before. Vikas looked broken, defeated. What? What are you going to do with it? My father asked. I leaned back in my chair. I haven't decided yet, I said honestly. Maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I'll donate it. I haven't decided. You can't, Vikas burst out. That's family land. It belongs with us. I looked at him, really looked at him, at the brother who had taken everything for granted his entire life. It doesn't belong to you, I said softly. It belongs to me. I bought it. With my money. Money I earned while you were borrowing from everyone you knew. He opened his mouth, then closed it. The room was suffocatingly silent. My mother was the first to speak. Beta, she said, her voice cracking, what do you want? Tell us. We'll do anything. I looked at her, at the woman who had loved me but never protected me, who had watched the imbalance for years and never said a word. I wanted you to see me, I said quietly. That's all I ever wanted. Just to be seen. Just to matter as much as him. I gestured toward Vikas. But you never did. You never will. So now I have to see myself. I stood up. The land is mine. I'm not giving it away. I'm not selling it to you. It's mine, and it will stay mine. I walked toward the door, then stopped. But I'll make you an offer. They all looked at me. I'll lease it to you. For farming. Fair market rate, nothing special. You can work the land, earn from it, keep it in the family that way. But it will always be mine. And every year, you'll have to come to me. Every year, you'll have to ask. And every year, I'll decide. I looked at my father. Maybe that will teach you what it feels like to depend on someone who doesn't have to help you. I left without waiting for their response. The drive back to the city was long and quiet. I thought about calling my daughter just to hear her voice, but decided against it. She was with her father this weekend, and I didn't want to disrupt her time. Instead, I just drove, letting the road unwind beneath me, letting the miles create distance between me and that house, that family, that life. In the weeks that followed, my phone rang constantly. My mother, my father, Vikas, even his wife, calling to plead their case. I answered some, ignored others, let them wonder. My mother came to visit once. We sat in my apartment, in the life I'd built without them, and she looked around with eyes that finally seemed to see. This is nice, she said quietly. You've done well. Yes, I said. I have. She didn't ask about the land. I didn't offer. Before she left, she hugged me. Tightly. The way she had that night she called, but different now. More real. Less performative. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have said something. All those years. You should have, I agreed. But you didn't. She nodded, accepting it. When she was gone, I sat on my balcony and watched the city lights flicker to life. Somewhere out there, my family was dealing with the consequences of their choices. And somewhere closer, My daughter was growing up knowing that her mother would never make her feel invisible. That, in the end, was the only thing that mattered. A year passed. The land stayed mine. Vikas farmed it, paid the lease on time every quarter, and never once complained. My father called occasionally, his voice softer now, less certain. My mother visited more often, trying to build something new from the ruins of what we'd had. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't reconciliation. It was something more complicated. A careful negotiation between past and present, between what was broken and what might still be repaired. And me? I learned something important that year. Revenge isn't about making them suffer. It's about making yourself whole. It's about taking back the parts of yourself you gave away hoping to be loved. The land isn't just land. It's proof. Proof that I existed, that I mattered, that I could no longer be overlooked. My daughter asked about it once, about why I bought land in a village she'd never visited. I told her the truth. Simplified, age-appropriate, but true. Sometimes, I said, people don't see you, even when you're right in front of them. And sometimes, you have to do something that makes it impossible for them to look away. She thought about that for a moment, then nodded. That makes sense, she said. Like when I built that really tall block tower and Grandma finally noticed I was good at building. I laughed. Exactly like that. Last week, I drove past the family home. I didn't stop, didn't go in, just drove slowly, looking at the house I'd helped pay for, the yard where I'd played as a child, the tree I'd climbed 1,000 times. My father was sitting on the porch. He saw my car, raised a hand in greeting. I raised mine back. Then I drove on. Further down the road, I stopped at the land. My land now, even if Vikas worked it. The crops were green, tall, healthy. A good season. I got out and stood at the edge of the field, feeling the sun on my face, the wind in my hair. I thought about all the years I'd wanted them to see me. All the years I'd measured my worth by their approval. All the years I'd been the problem child, the difficult one, the one who asked too many questions. And I thought about how none of that mattered anymore. Because I saw myself now, clearly, completely, without their filter, their judgment, their labels. I was enough. I had always been enough. They just couldn't see it. And that, finally, was their problem, not mine.